Chris Bumstead is one of the greatest bodybuilders of all time and the best classic physique competitor to ever do it. He has a phenomenal physique, his proportions and his aesthetics are rivaled by nobody. And one of the most important muscle groups in achieving those aesthetics is to have an armor-plated chest. Well, in a recent video, Chris revealed his chest routine, and in this video, I want to break it down with you, and I want to extract some of the golden nuggets from his routine that we can put into our own routines to make our chest grow even bigger. And stick around to the end of the video where I'll give you a Chris Bumstead inspired chest workout routine. And by the way, if you're new here, my name is Devin Actionricker. I'm a certified personal trainer and strength and conditioning coach, and I help people get in shape just like their favorite heroes. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss any of the upcoming videos. Now, with that said, let's jump into the routine. So first off, we can see Chris doing a chest press machine. And you'll actually notice here that he's doing a close grip / kind of a neutral grip with his hands. And so what that does is it takes a lot of the emphasis and places it a little bit more on the triceps than a normal grip would, where it places it more on the chest. So Chris is starting with a compound exercise focusing on the triceps and the chest. And you'll notice with all of these different exercises, one thing he has in common is that he has a really good emphasis on his range of motion. He gets a really good stretch on everything. And as we know from research, the stretch is extremely vital and important for growing your muscles. So if you want to grow your chest bigger, follow exactly what he's doing right here. Really emphasize that stretch in your lifts. What I've also found in doing this exercise is that a lot of people that have shoulder impingements or shoulder issues, they'll come down to that neutral grip, and that will actually make it feel a lot better for them. So if you have any sort of shoulder issues, try out this neutral grip, and I think you'll probably like it a lot. So that exercise was really good for the triceps and the bulk of the chest. Now he's moving on to work on his upper chest with a dumbbell incline press. And now you'll notice he's also doing a neutral grip here. He's probably got some shoulder stuff going on where he just wants to be really careful, but you could totally do that too, and that would actually focus a little bit more on the triceps as well. But if you hold it out more like a traditional press, you're going to focus more on the chest. And you'll see that his lifting partner here, Ian, is doing exactly that. Now the height of the incline doesn't really matter so much, just place it somewhere that's really comfortable for you. I usually like to go about halfway up, so about 45 degrees or so. Sometimes I'll even go even further up to get more of an emphasis on the upper chest, and when I do that, I can just really feel those muscle fibers at the top really working. So play around with the incline right there. There's actually two more things that I notice about Chris's technique. Number one is that he goes slow on the way down and gets even slower as he gets into that stretch. And what I think about, especially when doing pressing motions, is like there's a big spring on my chest, and as I'm going down, I'm getting slower and slower and slower. And then as you go up, you can spring up faster. And that's exactly how Chris is controlling his weight right here. Always go down slow and controlled, just like you're stretching out that muscle. And then all the way up, you can be explosive. And by doing that, that actually helps you become more athletic as well. You can become more explosive. Whereas if you're always lifting super slow, it's not going to help you as much with those type 2 muscle fibers in the sense of being explosive. Another thing that I notice about Chris's technique is that he takes a pause at the bottom, especially in that stretched position. So that kind of goes to show you that even he's training for that pause in that position. So that's a really good thing that you can do on a lot of different lifts, is just take a pause at the bottom of your position or whatever is the most stretched for you, and then take a pause, really focus on that muscle that's being worked, and then go back into it. I've seen a lot of people do these on things like leg presses as well. You'll also notice he has a good arch in his back. So whenever you're doing any kind of bench press or anything like that, you always want to have a pretty good arch in your back. And you don't want to be rounded or slouched or anything like that. That way you can feel an even deeper stretch in that chest muscle, and everything's really tense so that you can produce more force on the way up with the weight. All right, so up next, Chris is doing a wide grip chest press machine. This is a different one than what he was using earlier. And the way he's doing this is just like all the other exercises, where it's like a spring, you're going down slow and controlled and pressing up with a little pause at the bottom. And you'll notice the intensity on a lot of these exercises for him seems really, really intense. Like it's close to failure on a lot of these things. And that's something you could do, especially on machine exercises. You can go a lot closer to failure, and it's a little bit safer than doing something like a barbell bench press. Now, don't get me wrong, the barbell bench press is definitely my favorite chest exercise. I've been doing it for years and I absolutely love it. I think it's great for putting on mass and bulk, but there's definitely a lot more complications to it, like needing a spot and needing to really be careful whenever you're lifting, especially if you're not in a cage or anything like that. So utilizing a machine like this, especially one that allows you to go through a full range of motion, is an excellent option for really building, overloading, and not having to worry about failure. All right, so the next exercise they're going to do is fully focused on the chest. You take out a lot of the tricep work by doing this, and this is known as the cable fly. And the version that they're doing is a seated cable fly. That way you don't have to worry about your body's stability very much at all. Everything is just very situated, very focused. You don't have to worry about rocking back and forth or anything like that or stepping out into it. You're just seated there. That way you can totally focus on just utilizing the chest muscles, the pecs, as you're going through this full range of motion here. And again, notice that Chris is really pausing at the back, focus on that stretch, and then explodes out of that. This is a really excellent exercise, maybe one of my favorites for really just targeting the chest alone. And I highly recommend doing it with cables like they're doing it. Now, if you don't have a bench or anything like that, that's totally fine. Just doing a normal cable fly works great too. And in fact, when I do that and I step out and I get in that good power position, one foot in front of the other, like you're about to run and sprint, I just feel very powerful. As you're squeezing it together, you feel like Samson or something tearing down the columns. It makes you feel badass. Let's just be honest. Doing this exercise is great. All right, so up next you can see Chris and Ian doing a superset of dips and cable tricep pushdowns. Now, both of these are great exercises for really targeting the triceps, especially the cable tricep pushdown. It's pretty much all triceps, and you'll notice that whenever they're doing this, they come up and in with their hands just like that, and then they go down and kind of pull it out whenever they go down. And that will get you a really good range of motion on that triceps and a really good squeeze. Now, the dip is a great exercise for not just the chest, but also the triceps and the front delt as well, especially when you have a really good range of motion with it. So this is an excellent superset. And if you're not strong enough to do bodyweight dips, no worries at all. You can always use an assisted dip machine or something like that. Or you don't even have to superset these. You could just get dips out of the way first and then go into your tricep pushdowns. And both of these are really good, what I would call finisher exercises that you can put at the end of your workout to really just go to failure on and just maximum burn out those muscles. These are great exercises for doing that. All right, so that was Chris's routine. Now let's extract those golden nuggets from that and create our own routine. So here's a mesocycle, or about a month of training that you can do. Think about 4 to 5 weeks or so that you can do to really help bulk up your chest. And then of course, after this month, you can repeat and do it again or do another cycle with different exercises and stuff like that. So first up on everything, let's do about 3 sets of 10 to 15 reps. And with that first week that you're starting it, go a little bit lighter. Think of like a 7 out of 10 intensity, then go to like an 8 out of 10, then a 9 out of 10, and then on that final week, the peak week as we call it, that would be like a 10 out of 10 intensity or going to failure on pretty much all of these lifts. Now, you could repeat that for another week, or if you're just super fatigued overall with all of your training combined, you could always feel free to do a deload week before you start into your next mesocycle. Now, these are the actual exercises that I would place in there. First up, I would start with a dumbbell incline press. That way we're really targeting the upper chest right off the bat, and we're doing the only movement that really requires dumbbells and stability and stuff like that, so we can get it done early on and we can go really heavy with it. This is one of my favorite exercises for really bulking up the chest, especially that upper chest, and really getting a full range of motion, a good stretch, and a full good contraction in it. Up next, we'll go to close grip chest press. So just like the first movement that Chris was doing, not only are we going to hit our chest with this exercise, we're going to hit a lot of those triceps as well. So we've hit the upper chest, we've hit the bulk of the chest even with those dumbbell incline presses, but now we've hit the triceps as well. Next up, we're going to hyper focus on the chest by doing cable flies, and this can be a standing variation. That way it's an easier setup. You don't need a partner to help like bring you over the cables or anything like that. So this is a great exercise, like I mentioned earlier, for really focusing and just targeting that chest and taking out a lot of the tricep work. But because we're taking out a lot of that tricep work, the next exercises I want to put in are exactly what Chris Bumstead did, which is the dips and then the cable tricep pushdowns. Now with the dips and those pushdowns, we don't have to superset. Let's just start by doing dips on their own. If you need assistance, you can use the assistant machine, you can use bands, you can have a partner hold you, or anything like that. But remember, with all of these exercises, we're going 3 sets of 10 to 15 reps. Up next would be the cable tricep pushdowns, just like they're doing in the video. And then we're going to top all of this off with deficit push-ups. This is where your hands are elevated on blocks, on dumbbells, on books, whatever you have to elevate them on, just a few inches off the ground. And that way you could go down even further than you would on a normal push-up and get an even deeper stretch in that muscle. And with these, actually, we don't have to worry about like a 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10 intensity or anything like that. I would just say, because this is your finisher move, especially for your chest, just go all the way to failure, do 3 sets on that. That might look like maybe you get 10 reps, 15 reps the first set, and then maybe you're so fatigued you can only get like 7 the next one and then 5 the next one. Totally fine with those body weight things. You don't necessarily have to stay in that 10 to 15 range, but definitely try to shoot for it if you can. And then also, if you need to make the push-ups a little bit easier, you can do them on an incline, you can do them on your knees, whatever you need to do to try to get a few more reps in with a good full range of motion. All right, so that's it. That's Chris Bumstead's epic chest routine, and I guarantee if you follow what I just gave you or his routine in general, your chest is going to grow significantly and you're going to be bigger, stronger, have a bigger chest, have that armor plated chest. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you want to learn more about how to train your core, I have a free core training guide that I'll link in the description down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.